What if I told you there are foods you can plant just one time that will keep producing for years, even decades? Imagine walking to your balcony or windowsill and harvesting fresh food without ever replanting. This isn't a fantasy. These plants exist, and many of them grow beautifully in containers. They're perennial edibles, plants that return year after year, producing food season after season with minimal effort from you. Today on No Secrets Gardening, we're talking about food security in the simplest, most accessible way possible. We're exploring plants you can grow at home that keep giving, reducing your grocery bills, and increasing your self-reliance. If the idea of never running out of certain foods excites you, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's discover which plants will turn your small space into a source of continuous harvests. Why perennial food plants matter? Before we meet our plants, let's talk about why this matters, especially for those of us with limited space or mobility. Annual vegetables like tomatoes and peppers are wonderful, but you plant them every spring. That's work, expense, and time. Perennial food plants are different. You plant them once, and they keep producing. Some will outlive you. In containers, this is especially valuable. You're not disturbing soil every year, not buying new plants repeatedly, and not depending on perfect timing. The plants establish, they grow stronger each season, and they reward you with food. This is practical food security, not preparing for disaster, just ensuring you have fresh, nutritious food available whenever you need it. Number 1. Herbs, the kitchen essentials. Let's start with perennial herbs because they're the easiest and most immediately useful. We're talking about rosemary, thyme, oregano, sage, and chives. Why, they're forever foods. These herbs are perennials in most climates. Plant them once in containers, and they'll produce fresh flavors for years. Some, like rosemary, can live for decades with proper care. How to grow them? Use pots 8 to 12 inches wide, depending on the herb. Mediterranean herbs like rosemary, thyme, and oregano need excellent drainage. Mix sand into your potting soil. Place in full sun, at least 6 hours daily. These herbs need light to develop strong flavors. Water sparingly. Let soil dry between waterings. Overwatering kills Mediterranean herbs faster than anything else. Harvest regularly by cutting stems. This keeps plants bushy and productive. The more you harvest, the more they grow. Quick tip. In cold climates, rosemary needs winter protection. Bring it indoors to a sunny window, or move the pot to a protected spot outdoors and wrap it for insulation. Number 2. Green onions, scallions. The endless harvest. Green onions might seem like an annual, but they're actually perennial if you treat them right. And as we've discussed before, they regrow from scraps endlessly. Why, they're a security plant. Green onions produce continuously. Cut the tops, and they regrow within days. A small pot can provide fresh onion flavor year-round with almost no effort. How to grow them? Use a pot 6 to 8 inches wide and deep. Plant green onion bulbs or save the root ends from store-bought bunches. Place in bright light, at least 4 to 5 hours daily. Green onions tolerate partial shade better than many vegetables. Water when the top inch of soil feels dry. Keep soil consistently moist, but not soggy. Harvest by cutting the green tops with scissors, leaving about an inch above the soil. They'll regrow repeatedly for months or even years. Gardening fact. If you let green onions flower, they'll produce seeds. Collect these seeds and plant them for a continuous supply. The cycle becomes truly self-sustaining. Number 3. Kale, the nutrient powerhouse. Kale is typically grown as an annual, but it's actually a biennial that can produce for 2 years. More importantly, it's a cut-and-come-again crop that keeps producing leaves for months. Why? It's a security crop. Kale is one of the most nutritious vegetables you can grow, packed with vitamins A, C, K, calcium, and iron. It tolerates cold better than almost any other vegetable, producing fresh greens even in winter. In containers, a single kale plant can provide regular harvests for 6 to 12 months before needing replacement. How to grow it? Use a pot at least 12 inches wide and deep. Kale develops a substantial root system. Plant in rich potting soil with compost mixed in. Place in full sun to partial shade. Kale is one of the few vegetables that tolerates some shade. Water consistently, keeping soil evenly moist. Kale doesn't tolerate drying out well. Harvest outer leaves when they're 4 to 6 inches long, leaving the center to keep producing. A single plant can provide leaves for months using this method. Quick tip: kale tastes sweeter after light frost. If you can, keep it growing into fall and winter for the best flavor. Number 4. Strawberries, the sweet perennial. Strawberries are perennial plants that produce fruit for 3 to 5 years before needing replacement. In containers, they're surprisingly productive and space-efficient. Why they're excellent for food security. Strawberries produce fruit in late spring and early summer, with some varieties offering a second crop in fall. They spread by sending out runners, so one plant becomes many over time. Fresh strawberries are expensive at the store, but nearly effortless to grow once established. How to grow them? Use pots at least 8 to 10 inches wide, or consider a strawberry tower or hanging basket. They grow beautifully in vertical arrangements. Plant in rich, well-draining potting soil. Strawberries like slightly acidic soil, so mixing in some peat moss helps. Place in full sun, at least 6 hours daily for good fruit production. Water consistently, keeping soil moist but not waterlogged. Strawberries are shallow-rooted and dry out quickly. After fruiting, strawberry plants send out runners with baby plants attached. You can let these root in the same pot for a fuller plant, or pot them separately to expand your strawberry collection. Gardening fact: there are 3 types of strawberries: June-bearing, 1 large crop; ever-bearing, 2 crops per season; and day-neutral, continuous small harvests. For containers, ever-bearing or day-neutral varieties give you the longest harvest window. Number 5. Rhubarb, the spring giant. Rhubarb is a perennial vegetable, though we use it like a fruit, that can live for 20 years or more. Once established, it produces abundant stalks every spring, with almost no care. Why? It's a forever food. Rhubarb is one of the first fresh foods available in spring, when little else is ready. The tart stalks are perfect for pies, jams, and desserts. A single plant produces multiple harvests each season. How to grow it? Rhubarb needs a large container, at least 20 to 24 inches wide and equally deep. This is a substantial plant with extensive roots. Plant in rich potting soil with plenty of compost. Place in full sun to partial shade. Water regularly during the growing season, keeping soil consistently moist. Rhubarb has large leaves that transpire a lot of water. Don't harvest the first year. Let the plant establish. Starting in year 2, harvest stalks by grasping them at the base and pulling with a twisting motion. Never cut them, and never take more than half the stalks at once. Important note: only the stalks are edible. The leaves contain oxalic acid and are toxic. Always remove and discard leaves before using rhubarb. We're halfway through, and I hope you're already imagining fresh food growing outside your door year after year. If these ideas resonate with you, please give this video a thumbs up. And I want to hear from you. Are you growing any perennial foods already? What's working in your space? Drop a comment below and share your experience. Your success inspires others. Now let's continue with more plants that keep producing season after season. Number 6. Sorrel, the lemony leafy green. Sorrel is a perennial leafy green with a bright lemony flavor. It's less common than lettuce or spinach, but it's far more productive and reliable. Why it's a security plant? Sorrel is one of the first greens available in spring and continues producing until heavy frost. It's nearly indestructible, tolerating cold, heat, shade, and neglect. The leaves add a tangy, citrus-like flavor to salads, soups, and sauces. A single plant provides continuous harvests for years. How to grow it? Use a pot 10 to 12 inches wide and deep. Sorrel develops a deep root system. Plant in rich potting soil. Place in full sun to partial shade. Sorrel is more shade-tolerant than most vegetables. Water when the top inch of soil feels dry. Sorrel tolerates some drought, but produces more tender leaves with consistent moisture. Harvest outer leaves when they're 4 to 6 inches long, leaving the center to keep producing. Remove flower stalks as they appear. Flowering reduces leaf production. Quick tip: young sorrel leaves are milder and more tender. As leaves age, they become more intensely sour. Harvest regularly to encourage new, tender growth. Number 7. Asparagus, the patient investment. Asparagus is the ultimate perennial vegetable. Plant it once, and it will produce spears for 15 to 20 years or more. But it requires patience and a commitment to container gardening. Why it's worth the wait. Asparagus is expensive at the store, often $3 to $4 per pound. Growing your own means free, fresh asparagus every spring for decades. The flavor of homegrown asparagus, harvested minutes before eating, is incomparable to store-bought. How to grow it? Asparagus in containers is challenging but possible. Use a very large container, at least 18 to 20 inches deep and equally wide for one crown, or a half barrel for multiple crowns. Plant asparagus crowns, not seeds, in early spring. Cover with about 2 inches of soil initially, then gradually add more soil as shoots grow. Place in full sun. Asparagus needs at least 8 hours of sunlight. Water consistently during the growing season. Asparagus develops deep roots that need regular moisture. Here's the hard part. Don't harvest anything for the first 2 years. Let the plant establish strong roots. In year 3, you can harvest for 2 weeks. In year 4 and beyond, harvest for 6 to 8 weeks each spring. Gardening fact: asparagus is dioecious, meaning plants are either male or female. Male plants produce more spears because they don't waste energy on seed production. When buying crowns, look for all-male varieties like Jersey Knight or Jersey Giant. Number 8. Garlic chives, the dual-purpose perennial. Garlic chives are similar to regular chives, but with flat leaves and a mild garlic flavor. Both the leaves and flowers are edible, and the plant produces continuously. Why they're essential? Garlic chives are virtually indestructible. They tolerate heat, cold, drought, and shade. They produce edible leaves from early spring through fall, and the white flowers that appear in late summer are edible and beautiful. Unlike garlic bulbs, which must be replanted annually, garlic chives are true perennials that multiply over time. How to grow them? Use a pot 8 to 10 inches wide. Garlic chives grow in clumps and don't need much space. Plant in regular potting soil. Place in full sun to partial shade. Water when soil feels dry, an inch down. Garlic chives tolerate drought well once established. Harvest by cutting leaves about an inch above the soil. They'll regrow continuously. Remove flower stalks after blooming, if you don't want the plant to self-seed. Quick tip: garlic chives can become invasive in garden beds because they self-seed prolifically. In containers, this isn't a problem. You control exactly where they grow. Number 9. Walking onions, Egyptian onions, the self-planting marvel. Walking onions are one of the most unusual and fascinating perennial onions. They're called walking because they literally plant themselves. Why they're remarkable: walking onions produce small bulbs at the top of their stems instead of flowers. These top bulbs get heavy, bend the stem to the ground, and root where they touch soil, walking across the garden. In containers, you simply harvest these top bulbs or let them root to create new plants. Both the green tops and the bulbs are edible, with a flavor similar to shallots. How to grow them? Use a pot at least 12 inches wide and deep. Walking onions develop substantial root systems. Plant bulbs in spring or fall. Place in full sun to partial shade. Water regularly, keeping soil evenly moist but not soggy. Harvest green tops like green onions throughout the growing season. In summer, harvest the top bulbs for cooking, or leave some to fall and root for next year's crop. Gardening. Fact: walking onions are also called tree onions because of the tiered bulbs that form on tall stalks. They're one of the oldest cultivated onion varieties, grown for centuries in European and Asian gardens. Making the most of perennial food plants. Start with what you'll actually eat. Don't plant rhubarb if you've never made a rhubarb pie. Focus on foods you use regularly in your cooking. Be patient with establishment. Most perennial food plants produce modestly in their first year while they develop roots. Year 2 and beyond is when harvests become substantial. Feed them well. Perennials deplete container soil over time. Feed monthly during the growing season with liquid fertilizer and refresh the top few inches of soil each spring. Protect through winter. In cold climates, move containers to protected locations and insulate pots. Most perennial foods need a cold dormancy period, so don't bring them into heated spaces. Succession and backup. Even perennials eventually decline. When a plant is thriving, propagate backups. Take cuttings of herbs, divide strawberry runners, or collect seeds. This ensures you're never without. Combine plants. You can grow multiple perennial foods in one large container. Strawberries and chives work well together. Herbs can be clustered. This maximizes space and productivity. 9 foods you plant once and harvest for years. Perennial herbs for flavor. Green onions for continuous harvests. Kale for nutrition. Strawberries for sweetness. Rhubarb for spring abundance. Sorrel for tangy greens. Asparagus for long-term investment. Garlic chives for easy garlic flavor. And walking onions for self-sustaining onions. Food security doesn't have to mean stockpiling or elaborate systems. Sometimes it's as simple as having plants that keep producing, season after season, reducing your dependence on stores, and giving you control over at least some of what you eat. These plants aren't just practical. They're relationships. You plant them, you tend them, they reward you. Year after year, they return like old friends, asking for little and giving much. Which of these perennial foods are you most excited to try? Are you already growing any of them? What's been your experience? Share in the comments below. Your stories help others see what's possible. And if you're inspired by the idea of growing food that lasts, please subscribe to No Secrets Gardening. We're building a community of people who believe food growing should be simple, sustainable, and successful. Thank you for your time today. Grow calmly, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy gardening!